is paranormal.
Welcome back to another Tuesday of US Paranormal. We have your host, Starr, Lyles, Aaron Jones, and myself, Lisa Taaffe. How did it get dark all of a sudden? Huh. All of a sudden, I'm in the dark.
Well, when the sun goes down.
Apparently, I need to open some blinds or something.
Maybe. It's this weird phenomena called night.
Yeah. So today's episode, we have do's and don'ts of ghost hunting, kind of like Ghost Hunting 101. I'm going to work on my lighting. Starr, do you want to get started while I do that?
Well, of course, I don't mind at all. I'm going to talk about the leadership of a paranormal group. It's much like a leadership in a job position. As a matter of fact, my last job had brought over a couple of things that I used to do and tried to learn from. You don't want to be a boss, you want to be a leader in your paranormal team. You want to make sure that everybody is treated just the way that you want to be treated and taught the way that you want to be taught. You bring everybody together. You don't, a boss is going to drive an employee. And if you drive somebody, if you drive me hard enough, I'm going to rebel against you. But a leader will coach them, get alongside them and coach them and say, you know, I don't like the way that you did this. Let's try it this way and see if this works. What do you think, Aaron? You got anything to say about that? Because you're a leader.
Well, yeah. Well, I
you
try.
Go right ahead. You go right ahead. Huh?
I try. Well, leadership is doing the things that you expect others to do that you would do yourself. Mm-hmm. So if you expect your team to put up cameras and wheel up all that extension cord,
yeah,
which is tedious, you got to do it yourself. You got to be able to sit there with them and untangle and wrap and tape and sweat and freeze or whatever you got to do in that instant to get it done.
Yeah, and you might get all tangled up in it. You know, you're going to need somebody to help you get out. I've seen you do that.
Well, I've got 2 left feet. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, now a boss also depends on their authority, and they come in. A boss will come in and you know, act like a pimp. You know, you do this, you do that, and so on and so on.
You just compared us to a pimp.
No, I said a boss is like. But a leader is going to act on goodwill. As a matter, you know, they're going to treat each person with respect the way that they want to be treated. You know, with my group that I've got in Sheridan, Wyoming, Sheridan Paranormal Research, you know, when we go in, just like you said, Aaron, I don't expect them to put up everything without me doing it too. I'm going to do it too. But on the other hand, if I'm doing it as a leader, I expect them to be doing it also. You know, we work together and get those things put up. What do you think, Lisa?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. So what is it? Too many chiefs, not enough Indians.
Too many chefs in the kitchen ruins a stew. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. A boss is going to inspire fear, and a leader is going to generate enthusiasm. Get your team excited about what you're doing. Get them excited to set things up, you know, because there's a possibility of catching something. Get them excited to sit and go through hours upon hours upon hours of review, which is part of that's the most boring thing for me, is to go through the review. And I think that's probably true for everybody else. But if I'm going to do it, I expect my team to do it too. And vice versa. You know, the boss or the leader should sit down with the team and everybody go through the review together. All of the film, all of the audio. You know, and some will be better with the audio than they will with the film. Me, I would rather look at the video than I would go through the audio because I will fall asleep.
And me, I'd rather just go through the investigation.
If something breaks down, a boss is going to blame somebody. A leader is going to say, "Okay, let's fix this," and and get out there with everybody and fix it.
Right. Leaders locate solutions.
That's right.
That's.
A boss is going to have the attitude of knowing how it's done, but a leader is going to show how it's done. And I know this is probably boring for everybody, but this is good stuff. This is a good foundation and a good basis for your group. If you're going to have a good quality team, these are the things that you're going to have to, as a leader, get into your head. You're not a boss, you're a leader. And if you're going to be a leader, then you've got to do those things with your team that might be unpleasant and you might not enjoy. But if you're going to expect them to do it, then you got to do it too.
And then I kind of went a different route. I kind of went the ethic route, the do's and the don'ts. So we hit on those at some point too. Besides leadership, you know, people just starting out have to know where to begin, what to do, where to start. I mean,
yeah, and a good leader is going to show you where to start, how to do it. Yes. And if something breaks down, helps you fix it instead of just saying, get it done and walk off and leave you. You know, and I've had people do that to me and it makes me feel, you know, like an idiot, and it makes me feel so small. And then I start panicking. Well, what if I don't get it right? You know, I need somebody to show me, walk me through it, you know, and I'll get it done. And that's what a good leader will do.
I almost recommend starting with the larger groups first, because then you gain a little experience with this and that. It's just these large groups that go out and investigate. You learn the equipment before choosing a smaller group. That way, when you choose that smaller group that you join, you know that they're ethical. You know, you can tell by interviewing with them or talking with them or hanging out with them. You know whether you're going to mesh, whether your values are lined up or not. So I definitely, I recommend definitely starting with a larger group first.
You know, and another good thing about a leader is they're going to take their team and they're going to begin building relationships with each one and teaching them how to build relationships with each other, because a lot of paranormal investigation relies on trust between each other. And just like in a normal job, it's going to rely on trust. But in, you know, just like with our paranormal group, Lisa, you and I and Aaron, we're very close, and we talk to each other about everything.
Yeah.
And because that trust is there.
I don't trust either.
Yeah, whatever. Just whatever.
I don't. I am terrified of you.
Dragging you out of a haunted building because you're being all your energy.
Yes, I have you on video running scared out of the building. No, you weren't scared, you were sick.
Oh, me? Oh, yeah. I wasn't scared.
Well, you just said that you were scared.
I was throwing up. There's a difference. There's a huge difference.
And me screaming like a bitch in the chapel.
Yeah.
That wasn't screaming. I was more telling you what these people were saying.
I don't know what.
Hey, I was Billy Badass at Yorktown. Okay, I was a beast.
Billy Badass.
I was a beast.
I would not go back to that place without either of you. Honestly, with no other group, because of what we went through and how hard that place was, and the darkness that was there. I would not step foot without either of you.
And what we're talking about, everybody, is Yorktown. In Yorktown, Texas, it's a Memorial Hospital. It's been closed down for years. And we went on an investigation there together. And that was the most intense investigation I think I've ever been on, as far as running into things and just what we had to deal with. And I mean, even Aaron, who is used to dealing with the dead, got sick because he ran into one accidentally.
No, he ran into me.
You turned around.
That is true. That is true.
And it was just such an amazing experience. I agree with you, Lisa. I do want to go back, but I won't go back without you guys. And that's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of sync that you have to have with your team.
Exactly.
You do things together. Don't just investigate together. Do things outside of that together. Go have a picnic down at the park and have the whole team down there and just get together, or go to a restaurant and sit down. Do fun things with each other and build relationships.
Yeah, because it's important to have that understanding of what is each other's limits. How far will you go? I mean, we all know my limits. I won't touch anything that could be used as a vessel. Anything. And though we laugh at it, fucking that damn doll.
Very offended and hurt.
She understands. She leaves me alone. But it's having that understanding.
Is it?
But it's having that understanding of each other's, where's your boundaries lie, and respecting that. So, in our group, we have separate boundaries, and then some of our boundaries are the same, like the Ouija boards and things like that.
Aaron, during Yorktown, you said, when I say I want to go, I want to go, and that's it. There's no questions. When you felt uncomfortable and you felt it's unsafe, we've got to leave, and we did.
Yep. That respect also lies with the fact of what happened to you, Lisa, there at Yorktown, and the protection that Aaron and I both had towards you, because Lisa was getting picked on at Yorktown by this
man. He was a man.
He was a man, but he was just a malicious man, a malicious spirit. And as far as pulling her hair, scratching her, just hanging all over her, and she could literally feel this. And Aaron is getting very protective. I'm getting very protective. Well, that's what a team does. I can say it. There's no I in a team.
It's learning when to walk away. It's especially if you have a medium in the group, you're a medium, or you're psychic, or what have you, whatever kind of sensitive you have, they need to know when they have to walk out of the rooms, because sometimes our being there will impede the investigation. And we found that out at Black Swan, where he wouldn't have anything to do with us because I was in the room. And I'm talking about the cowboy. And it wasn't until I left the room that they actually started getting more and more evidence. So being able not only to recognize each other and respect each other, but recognizing when it's time for each other to walk away and kind of clear that space. You don't always have to hug a butt. That's what we call it in the Army. You don't have to hug a butt to keep so close to each other. You can spread out. You can go and do other things while everybody else is doing their own thing.
Well, if you remember that house in Mineral Wells, Haunted Hill House, with the kids, sometimes they don't respond. They only respond well to women, mother-like figures. So it's kind of the same thing. Aaron, you may be there, and they may say, "Oh, there's this man. We don't want to. They don't want to communicate." So you would have to stay downstairs in another part of the room. And Starr and I may get more interaction with the kids.
Yep. Well, let me finish what I started here on leadership, and then Lisa, I'll just throw it out at you. One of the things too that we need to realize is a team leader doesn't just take the credit. He gives credit, or she gives credit. I've seen too many, even on TV in the professional paranormal world. I've seen too many leaders take all the credit for themselves about anything that they have found, and their group just kind of hangs in the background. Well, you know, without that group, you wouldn't be able to do the things that you're doing. You know, so you give credit, don't take credit. Don't command anything. Ask your group, can you do this for me? Would you do this for me, please, or whatever. And instead of saying go and get this done, say let's go. Let's get this done. Let's do this together. Yeah. You know, each one is going to have a different set of skills. And when we bring those skills into the group, it will enhance the team. And it's going to result in a quality investigation. We should, whether a leader or a member, bring out the best in each other. And I think that's what we do. Because, Aaron, I can't do the things that you do. You don't do the things that I do. And the same with Lisa. And we work very well together. Do we ever disagree? Yes.
No.
So, I'm going to have to disagree with you respectfully.
We're going to have to agree to disagree on it.
We're going to have to agree to disagree.
Well, I mean, you know, but that's important, is to be able to disagree. I mean, especially, I mean, and our group is so weird anyway, because we've got Lisa, who's been in this for forever. Starr, you have too, but you're so skeptical on the other side. And then you add me to this group, and you're both like, man, I don't really agree with psychics. Prove it to me. And then here you are working with me.
You don't like information ahead of time. You don't like the history or anything. I kind of tend to like the history on the property in the background and stuff. So then we got that too. So we're trying to find out the history, but not tell you.
Right. But sometimes I'm like, oh, I shouldn't be here. And then turn around, knowing when to walk away. And that's happened to us, where we go into a place and I get out of the car and just start walking up, hey guys, and then realize that they're getting a history lesson, and I'm like, I can't be here. Or the person that we're helping just jumps right into it and it's like, well, this is what's going on. And they're like, oh, don't talk anymore. Aaron needs to leave.
Oh, it's been more than once we've booted you out. So
yeah, Aaron's not allowed to be here. This is secret squirrel time. So, yeah. So, but I appreciate that. I do. I really do. Because it keeps me honest, and it keeps me, I don't know, it validates me every time. So, but that's okay. That's okay. But it is odd. Our little group is odd because, like I said, Starr is kind of the skeptic of our group, and Lisa's the brainiac, and I just see the dead people. And you guys, you know, and I'm like, Aaron, are they here? Yep.
Lisa,
do they want to say anything? Yep.
I don't even know what to say to that.
I know I'm going to get you a t-shirt, Aaron, and it's going to say, I see dead people on it. So when you go to these places, don't talk to me. I see dead people.
Right. Is there anybody here? Yep.
No, just I see dead people because of all the people that always come to him and say they see dead people too.
Which happens so often.
It's true.
It is. It happens to me all the time. Oh, you see dead people? Who told you that? How did you even find that out? Well, I heard there was a radio show and I've been listening, or oh, I've seen some things, and then they go on with their whole life story about how grandpa came to them when he died. And I'm like, well, that's not me. I knew Billy was sick. I just didn't realize that I was psychic. Well, I'm not psychic. I'm a medium. I can't tell you Grandpa misses you. You know, your father left you when you were 12. It's devastated you your whole life.
So you don't
have no idea. I don't. I have no idea. I could become a psychologist and be like, and how does that make you feel? But I don't know if that'll help in investigations.
He was a psychology minor.
Right. But I just see what I see and I give what I give. Or I give what I'm given. That's what I always say, right? I give what I'm given.
Right.
So, I mean, it might be different for everybody, but I don't have that ability. And that's the other part is the honesty. You have to be honest. Especially if you work with someone like me, there has to be a trust there that what they're saying is what you believe. And can you find facts behind it, or can you not so much back it up, because there have been stuff that I have said that we have not found that, but we didn't dig deep enough or what have you. But you got to be able to trust that they're being honest. And I always say I only give what, and sometimes it's weird. Sometimes it's weird and I don't want to say it, but I say it anyway because I give what I'm given, and that's important.
Yeah, over and over time again. There's no doubt.
Huh? Say that one more time, Lisa.
I was just saying that you've validated stuff for us so many times, for Starr and I, that there's absolutely no doubt.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Lisa.
Oh no, I was just saying for us personally. Obviously, you have to meet the person, get to know them. It's hard to trust new mediums or psychics.
Well, I guarantee if anybody's watching or if anybody's listening, they're probably going, that Aaron guy, I wonder if he's real, because I am, and I do the same thing. I'm like, well, maybe it's possible. I don't know. But, I prove myself time and time again, and that's fine. But that trust, that ability to have that trust with each other, that is he telling the truth. But it's also the backside of that coin is I also rely on you guys to back that information up. And I have to trust that you're being honest in the findings that you have to back it up, instead of just saying, yeah, it's true, we found this. Well, can I see it? Can I hear it? I want to make sure it's true. I have to trust that you guys back up that other side of the coin from what I'm saying. So honesty and trusting is really very, very important in a group.
Well, that's true. And the one thing that we do with you, Aaron, you've been on several investigations with me, and I always have you walk through first. I film you, and you tell me what you're given.
Right.
And then we do the investigation. And then afterwards, we get together, go through all of the review, and I have found so much that you've been spot on. And that is what proves to me, okay, he's seeing something that I'm not seeing. He's really picking up on stuff. I never told you about the house that we went to in Sheridan, and I can't say the address or anything, but there was a big staircase, if you remember this place. There was a big staircase, and you kept saying, somebody keeps walking up and down this staircase. Well, that was one of the claims, of course, that they had, was footsteps up and down this wooden, old Victorian-style house, the staircase there.
Oh, okay. I know what house you're talking about now. I'm like, we've done so many investigations in that area. Which one are we talking about?
I knew you'd get it that time.
And I'm like, I think they all have stairs. But yeah, it was what was he, a dentist or a musician? The guy. But anyway, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And the door, we got stuck in that stupid room.
Yes. Well, the biggest thing that you did not know about, that you caught, that you gave to us, was there was a man, a spirit, that roamed up and down the stairs, but he also went into that front room, and he would sit and look out the window. And there, when I was interviewing the owner of the home, he was telling me about this man that he had seen out of the corner of his eye. And he just kind of lingered in the hall, and he would go into that room that you were talking about, and he would, he would see him after that, but that's where he would go. So that right there is validation. Yes, you saw that, because he told me, I never told you, and then there it is, on film, you telling us, this is what I see. And that's how we validate stuff.
Right, but on the other side of that coin, when all of that was said and done, It was, okay, this is the history I've been told, and and I've already done everything. So it's not as if I'm giving new information afterwards, but
Right.
I rely on that trust that you're going to give me an accurate history, whether I am on it or not. I mean, when we did, what was that hotel we did?
The Occidental.
Is it, no,
No.
the Sheridan, the one
Oh,
in Sheridan.
I don't remember.
It was with the shoe.
Oh, the Sheridan Inn.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even some of the stuff there, it was weird and uncomfortable to say because it just sounded like blasé, but I relied on you to give me the historical facts. Is what I'm getting real or is it not? And so I rely on that trust too, that truth. And you're honest about it. You don't make things up. You don't elaborate or jewel things up as you say it. You just give the straight facts, and that's what makes us cohesive.
Right. Right.
So,
And then of course bringing Lisa in, because we're going to be working so much more together. Bringing Lisa in to this, and all of us working together. Lisa, you have so much experience and things that I learned from you. But anyway, enough about the leadership thing. Or do we need to go into a halftime?
Yeah, let's take a little break. Let me see if I can figure this yellow thing out here.
And if you guys are listening and you want to put some comments or questions down at the bottom, do that, and we will try to get to it and answer it.
Yeah, we can check that out while we're on break. So let me just do this here. See if I can do it to cooperate. But it's exactly cooperate last. All right, welcome back. If you're just now joining us, you have US Paranormal. We are now doing live broadcasts, or attempting it anyways. We have myself, Starr, and Aaron. Aaron's MIA, but I'm sure he'll pop in any second. There you go.
Boom.
First half we talked about leadership with groups, because we're going back to the basics, Paranormal 101. Starr hit on that, so we all kind of chimed in. And then the second half, which we're going to start with, like the do's and don'ts and the basics of investigating, kind of expand upon that. Number one, which I'm like the worst at, I put no flip-flops or boots, obviously because of the thuds, and no flip-flops while you're trying to listen to playback. And I will admit, I love flip-flops. I've worn them during million investigations, and people want to kill me. But it's the worst thing you can do. So don't do it. Shoes only. So I usually, now I carry a pair of tennis shoes. I'll wear my flip-flops, but then throw on tennis shoes. Plus, when you're in these old abandoned buildings, you don't know if there's nails or boards or, you know, what you're going to step on, glass. I mean, you just can't be in flip-flops. So, no flip-flops. No matter how cute they look, no flip-flops. No walkie-talkies. We even attempted that once, and it's very evident it interferes with the equipment. There's no questions and doubts about that. The meters go nuts. Every time you would try to like contact us, our meters were going crazy. We're like, what the hell's going on?
However, I want to interject here because I like having walkie-talkies if you've got, like if you split up. I really do, because what if something happens and somebody gets hurt, then you can call out to somebody and say, hey, come help us, or, you know, whatever.
Here with the meters going off, they said like we had trouble with that. So how would you, because I do understand the need to be able, if we split up to reach each other, and I've seen them use their investigations on TV, but how do you prevent them from interfering? I mean, you keep them off, only turn them on at certain points, like, you know, you have to, I guess, work around that so that it's not.
That's the only thing that I would think of is of having walkie-talkies, is just so that in case something happens, or, you know, and maybe don't use them unless you absolutely have to keep them on, but don't use them. You think they would interfere if you kept them on?
Because they were on, but if you're going in pairs of two at all times, which is another one with my do's and don'ts, then you got that backup person. You know, hopefully nothing happens to both of you.
Right.
But and then I put all cell phones in airplane mode or off, because that's, you know, another reason to interfere. I don't know how y'all feel about that. And I just personally don't like cell phone apps at all. I hear so much negativity about them not working, or them interfering because you're using the phone itself. So I don't know how y'all feel about the apps. Do you have an opinion on that, or take on any of that?
They're not proven.
No. They're fun. They're fun.
You know, it might hit on something. I've had it hit on some things for me that I couldn't explain, and it was true, but they're not proven.
Yeah. So I say just stay away from them altogether. No eating during investigations except at base, which sounds like a common sense thing, but believe it or not, I had an investigator and his wife just insisted on chomping on nuts in the middle of investigations.
So you hear. If there's anybody here with us, please give us a sign. And you hear.
He's cracking the pistachio.
So then you're reviewing, going, something.
And then she turns on her not iTunes, one of her music things too. She's listening to music, and I'm like, "Are you serious? Are you serious right now? We're in somebody's home, a client's home, and you're cracking pistachios and listening to music on your phone right next to me." Like, so, but that was not my choice, and that was part of what I was at.
You know, and I don't think that people really realize how unless you're doing the audio and the video review, you don't realize how important it is to be quiet, even with walking. Wear soft shoes to walk with. Don't be clomping around and like you were talking about flip-flops. And just be quiet.
Yeah. And in this particular situation, she wasn't an investigator. She was the wife of one of the guys that was, and this whole jealousy issue where she had to be there to watch him. So she could just be there.
I love that.
But she's
Because he's going to have an affair with Casper. He's going to fall madly in love with the gray lady.
no, I wouldn't say it was Casper, but
You're sitting in the dark with people. I don't trust you.
It was
What's
bad.
the worst that could happen?
I mean, we were in the middle of a restaurant once, and she was sleeping on the bench because she just had to be there, so she's all like sprawled out on the bench. And I'm like, this does not look good. We got the restaurant open, and you're sleeping. Like, don't even come. It was bad. So those are all no. Don't do.
Mm-hmm.
Get a clingy wife. Don't even become an investigator. Period.
Right. Or husband, if you've got a clingy husband.
Clingy wife, don't even become an investigator because it's not going to work for you.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have that trust. Let's see. I put no chewing gum because nothing worse than listening to that smacking on playback. Because Aaron is our professional at sound effects. Obviously, no provoking.
Yeah, definitely no provoking. Especially if you have a sensitive with you, don't provoke.
Well,
God, I can't emphasize that enough. Seriously, people, if you have a sensitive of any kind, a medium, a psychic, a Reiki healer, an empath, whatever, I don't care. If they know flies are dead in the room, I don't care. Do not provoke while they're there. Because we take the brunt of that so freaking much. It's not fun for us. And this is supposed to be something that is fun. And it's kind of like an everyday thing for me, but it's to be able to get other people to experience it with you, that's an enjoyment. And to do good and to help others, that's an enjoyment. But for someone to go in and be like, I think you're a pussy and you want to do stuff to me, it's not going to happen to you.
Right.
Especially if you have a beacon in there with you, it's going to happen to us, and it's not fun. Don't instigate. Just let it be. Let it happen naturally. And if they want to talk, they'll talk. If not, leave them alone.
Exactly.
I feel like that kid from the old deal. Leave Brittany alone. She's a good mom. Leave Casper alone. It just, don't provoke. I mean, show the ultimate respect when you go into places.
Yeah.
Because first of all, we're not talking about, some juvenile delinquent who broke into a building and is squatting there, and you're trying to find out is he still there. This is somebody who lived and who died. And most of the time they're either confused or they're angry at the situation that they're in. And respect is the utmost importance.
Exactly. Because in the way that I see it, Aaron, and of course you see things way differently than I do because you see them literally. But the way I see it is when a person dies, the body is their shell, their spirit is the personality and who they really are. And that's who you're dealing with, good or bad. Be respectful when you go and approach this person, because they're still a person.
Well, yeah. And a lot of the times there's a damage there, and they're seeking that comfort, or they're seeking that communication. They're reaching out, and then finally somebody is reaching back, and you shouldn't be reaching back with anger and hostility. You should be reaching back with respect and love, and that's important.
Exactly.
So, and you don't know. 9 times out of 10, anytime anybody that it's investigating goes into a place, when they leave, the activity is quantified because they're stirring up the dust. They're they're creating more energy. They're bringing things out that are to gain evidence, if you will. So that family or the people that are staying behind, they still have to be there. And for you to provoke and for you to be hostile, that creates an even worse environment for those people that have to stay and have to deal with that. So, yeah, that's a big don't. That's a big don't. No, no.
Oh no.
No,
Slap the
no,
hand.
no, 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 no. My kids used to say that. No, 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 no.
You need to find line of trigger objects where you trigger objects to see if you're going to get a response. Like, but of course, that's more benign where you have a bunch of cards out or you have a bottle of beer out, like at a brothel or something, to see if you get a response. So that's not really provoking. I guess that's more just trying to trigger in the system.
Right. I mean, well, there's a difference between. So let's stop for a minute and do this. So there's a difference between provocation and instigation, right? So when you try to instigate something, you're trying to get it to react. We instigate things by saying this flashlight on the floor is here. Make it go off. That's an instigation. We are trying to get a reaction. But a provocation, that comes out of hostility. That is, I don't believe that you're here. If you are, prove it. Do something to me. Scratch me, bite me, pinch me, pull me. Do whatever you've got to do. And that creates, that creates that negative, hostile environment. And most times we see the provocation like that when there are reports of people getting hurt, women getting attacked, children getting attacked. Then investigators go in there and they're like, oh, you like to hurt kids or you like to touch women. That is not okay because those people have to go back. And now you've just created a worse environment for them to go back to.
Right.
Instigation is fine. Provocation is not.
Yeah, that's a good way of splitting up and describing it.
Hey, Lisa, I've got a question that came over YouTube. Is it okay to ask it now?
Yeah, anytime.
We have people listening on YouTube.
We actually have somebody listening, and I'm going to actually even
to the big time.
Our first live show.
I'm even going to give her name. It's Sherry.
Hello, Sherry. Welcome to Paranormal Radio.
You know Sherry from Sheridan, Aaron.
I do. Oh, Sherry. Hi. That's. I've been adopted by Sherry.
Yes, we both have actually. Lisa, you're going to have to come up and get adopted too, you know.
Right. Well, then we'll just be a family. So what's Sherry's question?
Sherry's question is, do y'all say a prayer of protection before starting an investigation?
Absolutely. Starr, I think you can do that one best.
Yes. Yes, we do. She says, hi, Aaron.
Hi.
Yes, we do, as a matter of fact. And I'm going to bring up Yorktown a lot because Yorktown was just an experience that all three of us had together. Before we went into the building, we decided, let's pray or let's do our thing. Aaron, you smudged, and you also did your Jewish thing, your Jewish prayer. I prayed the Christian prayer.
Your Jewish thing.
Your Jewish thing. Hey, I've got Jewish in me. I can say that.
There's no shame. There's no shame.
And so, yes, we did. We stood in a circle. We had a guy there that was a Buddhist. We had Aaron that was Native American and Jewish. And you had me that was Christian. And Lisa that was, I believe, Christian.
A hodgepodge of whatever.
A hodgepodge of whatever. And so, yes, we did. We covered ourselves in prayer and protection before we went into Yorktown. And
well, not just before. We do it before and after.
And after, yes, and after. Because I don't want anything coming home with me. Lisa, I know you don't. And Aaron.
Something always comes home with me, so I can't get away from that. But if I can keep everybody else from having something come away with them, then that's my goal.
Yes, and to me, it is so important to have that protection of your religious belief to go in there on, because you don't know what's going to happen. And honestly, I believe Yorktown would have been much worse for us if we hadn't, because there were some things that happened that was not supposed to happen there. And we were warned.
Yeah, and that's the ironic part of it is that
That's a long
so
story.
no names, but we had members of our group just devastate this area, just disrespect by all means, and it ruined it for us. It made things very difficult, and it allowed other things to influence and take charge, and that's something that made our experience heavier and more intense. And we were already tired people.
Oh yeah.
And it just was very difficult. And even on the way back, I was so drained. I think I slept through half that trip. But
yeah. And the thing, like we said, we were warned. We did our protection. We prayed, and I believe, Aaron and Lisa, that it would have been there were much worse things that could have happened to us in that building during that investigation if we had not have covered ourselves in protection.
And I agree, because I took us off to keep so many things from happening. Yeah, I even took a lot of the brunt on myself just to kind of ease the air, if you will. But yeah,
everybody prayed differently. Everybody had their own prayers, and we went in a circle, like you did your prayer, her prayer. I mean, it wasn't like, oh, we can only do one prayer. It doesn't matter our religions, our beliefs. We just encompass all of our prayers and beliefs.
Yeah, we were together, and that makes a big difference.
And intent, all about intent.
Yeah.
And the next one I put is to do a walkthrough beforehand, not only for your baseline readings in your K2, but also to check for like broken boards and all that kind of stuff, before it gets dark. That way you know if there's any hazards or anywhere you're going to trip or fall, that kind of stuff. But you need to know where your K2 spikes are going to be also before investigating. That way when you're going through and you get this spike, you're not like, oh my God, there's a spike, and here it you would have checked beforehand, it was already there. We already talked about not going in solo. I put always bring your ID in case you're ever stopped. And I never really thought about this one, but people walking through a dark home with flashlights can look a little suspect in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
And there's these flashlights.
What we should do. So this is what we should do. We need to get a banner to stick in the front yard that says U.S. Paranormal Investigation, and that way we don't get.
Then people will come knocking on the door, seeing what we're doing.
Hey, are there dead people in here?
Oh my gosh, I was at this place one time. It was a hotel, and I had this guy come in, and he was drunk as all get out at this hotel, and he comes in and he says, "Can I investigate with you?" I was like, no, but thank you anyway for your enthusiasm.
I always find it comical when we're doing an investigation and somebody comes in and they're like, well, because this happened to you and I, Starr, remember? We did that trailer, and then we ended up at this other house because they're like, come check out my place. And we're like, okay, well, we're done here, so we will. But next time, give us a call and we'll set it up. But yeah, I can't really, give advice on the setups and all that because that's not my expertise. I don't really have a lot of experience in that, the do's and the don'ts for that kind of stuff. But if you are having, and I don't mean to interrupt, Lisa, but it's kind of like that joke, knock, knock, who's there? The interrupting cow, moo. But I will say for do's and don'ts, if you bring somebody, a sensitive individual, keep them as sterile as possible. And I don't mean put them in a Ziploc bag. you know, but keep them as sterile as possible. If you want truthful, reliable information, and you want to truly trust that this individual is what they say they are, then keep them as sterile as possible.
Right.
Make sure that they have no information. They go in with no information. We even get it to the point in our group where I don't find out where we're going until we're there. So that there isn't a research aspect on my side. Keep it as sterile as possible. Don't allow anybody in your group that claims to be a sensitive and wants to use that in your group. Don't allow them to be a part of the discussions with the owners, with the caretakers, anybody like that, because that's an influence in itself as well.
Right.
Also, I was going to say something else, but just be cautious and be careful. If you think something is too to the exact, then ask questions. If you think that they're too accurate, can I say that? Does that make sense if I say too accurate? They lived here in February of 1943, and
check it out.
He shot a chicken that day, and then if it's so detailed that you could literally paint a mental picture, then ask questions. Is this really true? Because a lot of it doesn't really happen like that. It's literally a flow of information that just continues. And so you get parts that you miss because more and more keeps coming. And so be cautious of that. Keep it sterile. Also, allow them to do their walks first. And that way they're not a part of, and I actually do the investigating part with Starr and with Lisa, where I do my walk and then I go back with them and do it on some of the events that we do, just so I can see the other side of the coin. I guess that's it for now. I had something else and I totally forgot while I was going off on my tangent. So, nope, never mind.
You're just such a tease.
I know. I'm sorry.
Oh, he'll remember in a second. So I'm going to jump through a couple more because we're getting close to the hour. Gosh, I guess we could probably spend 2 hours on this.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But I make sure your camera lenses are cleaned well so you don't have smudges that can be mistaken for orbs. Ooh, the orbs, the big old topic here.
Things that I don't believe in.
Like, there's 10 orbs. Cold weather, also be aware of your breath when taking photos so it doesn't come across as a mist or a possible ectoplasm. So, people aren't thinking there's more going on there than there is. Of course, if you're going to use flash, taking pictures, call it out so people aren't blinded and they know what you're doing. Of course, tagging yourself. I think everybody knows to tag yourself. And one of my favorites is or tag noises too, any kind of movement or sounds. And one of my favorites is locate a restroom prior to dark, if there is any, because there's nothing like trying to find a bush to squat in at midnight and praying there's no poison ivy. I think that's just very important. Having experienced that. Yeah. Luckily, no poison ivy though. Consent forms on everyone, whether you're a guest, investigating someone's property, whatever, which there's always consent forms. A lot of people do purchase liability insurance, important, because people will claim that shit gets broken when it doesn't. And never assume people are honest when you're investigating their place. If you're asked to investigate, I say always check for hidden wires, audio, tapes, etc. when doing your baseline sweeps. Because they have been found. I've had friends where they found the audio and they continued the investigation. And then during the reveal, when they went over it with them, they included the evidence they found. And those people were very embarrassed for their behavior. But it happens because they want the attention. They want to be on TV. They want to be known. They do it. So you just can't trust people. And then kind of going along with my experience when you guys were in town last. Never interview a client alone. Always with several other members, because like I had the possibly demonic case where the guy pulled out a handgun and it was just me and the priest. Well, obviously, the more people you have on hands, the easier it is to control the situation.
Yeah.
And when you go out to homes, you just don't know what to expect. So I think you can't go out with just 2 people to interview. Period. So it has to be a whole crew.
Mm-hmm. And if you take a sensitive individual with you, make sure the owners or the caretakers approve of them going in before taking them in.
Right.
And I said also, never be afraid to say no to taking a case, because some people will do it just because, you know, reputation or this is my friend. And this was a priest that I was good friends with who got very pissed and upset that I would not take that case. But, you know, it doesn't matter. No case is worth dying for. So.
Well, I remember that case, and we had some opinions on that ourselves, Lisa. So it wasn't just your decision. It was the decision of the team not to do it.
Right.
But yeah, as a team, though, you don't want to die over a case. You don't want to go in and worry about this.
You don't want to join them. You just want to investigate them.
I just want to communicate. That's it.
Aaron doesn't want to have to come in and see you later.
No, you're not going to be like trying to talk to me later.
Right.
Don't wear like perfumes or strong scents, because a lot of people can pick up on like cigar or cigarette smoke or perfumes of the deceased, and sometimes that's important when investigating on picking up on who that person is, especially if it's a family member that wore a particular scent, or if it's something even demonic and the sewage smell that you can't smell over your own perfume. You know? I mean, so don't be covered in perfume.
Compassion by Mother Teresa.
But we do want to smell good, so please wear deodorant and brush your teeth.
Yes, deodorant's okay. And no whispering during investigations, because it's very easy. I'm notorious. I'm terrible about that, I'll admit. Another guilty one for me. Let's see, witnesses, as far as interviewing, I say personally, I don't know how y'all feel about it, interview them alone, because they feed off each other. And then if they're falsifying information, they're just feeding even more. So I say separate off everyone and interview everyone solo.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I think probably most people, well, so there was 2 more things I had. One is going into a location kind of neutral, evidence. Because you can say go in as a skeptic, but if you go in with the intent to either prove or disprove, then you tend to bend that way subconsciously, you know. And if you walk in with, you want to walk in without a conclusion. Otherwise, you're going to have a conclusion from the start. So you just want to remain neutral. And then one of the last things was no Ouija boards unless the entire group approves of it, the owner approves of it, all that kind of stuff. You know, I mean, every group is different. I know some groups use them, some don't. I think I know our group's view on that. But so, yeah, that's something you just don't do unless everybody consents to it.
Right.
And then something you had mentioned, Starr, earlier that kind of tied into, or maybe it was Aaron, that the mission statement of the group should reflect what they are supposed to do. And then no chosen people, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of wraps it up for me as far as do's and don'ts. I kind of skipped over a few, but we're at the hour. Did y'all have anything to expand on any of that?
No, not really. We've expanded on a lot, actually, and had a lot of fun. I've had fun tonight. What is it going to be on next week, Lisa?
That is a good question, Starr.
I like to put you on the spot.
Next week on Cooking with Julia Child.
Are you gonna make fried chicken, Julia?
Oh, I make good fried chicken.
Yes, you do.
I do. I make a good fried.
Butter? Is that the one that says butter?
What?
Huh?
Who says butter? For butter?
Butter. That's it's a hot butter and oil. Hot butter and oil. Hi y'all. Hi y'all.
Who is that?
Paula Dean.
Paula Dean. That's it.
Hi y'all. Paula Dean here, y'all. We gonna make some fried chicken, y'all. It gonna be good, y'all. Hot butter and oil. Hot butter and oil.
Okay, so next week is the 14th. So we're actually doing spiritual attachments to both people and items. We do have Brian Cano said he would come on.
Awesome.
So I'll get him added so we can just feed him through and shut apart. But yeah, so he said just send him a reminder. So next week, y'all join us. Brian Cano will be on to discuss spiritual attachment. If you don't remember his show, it was Haunted Collector, where they went through and they found the items in the homes that had the attachment and then brought them to whoever. I don't remember what museum. I don't think it went to the Warren Museum. I think it went to someone else that had a museum. Yeah, so spiritual attachment is next week.
Awesome. That sounds great.
And Maggie will be there to join the spiritual attachment episode. Aaron is shaking his head. So
we know Aaron.
We'll see you guys next week, and then I'll just go ahead and go out with the same slideshow. That way, if you missed it, it does have 2 upcoming events that we're going to be at, and where we're going to have a table set up and stuff, so you have to come visit us. We have Glen Rose, Texas in March. I believe it's the 18th, starting around 10 a.m. And then April 1st, we have Jefferson, Texas.
All right. And everybody, don't forget, if you have any comments, go ahead and put them at the bottom of the YouTube page there in the comment section. If you have any questions, we'll try to get to them. Spread the word. Let's have some fun together.
Yeah,
Yes.
Happy hunting.
Next week. I kind of like this live feed thing over the audio.
Yeah.
Y'all's beautiful faces. Okay, so we'll see you guys next week.
All right.